Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Myself Seema Tambe, and today we are starting with a new chapter which is a class 10 chapter, which is the second chapter, which is acid, bases and salts. Okay, so in your previous grade you might have seen what is acid, what is base and salt, which is what we are going to talk about in this chapter as well. Okay, now what are acid basically? Okay, now what is acid? What makes it acid basically? So let's talk about it. Acid. Okay, now what are the properties of acid? Okay, when anything is sour in taste, okay, when the substance is sour in taste, then that particular substance is said to be acid. Okay, and if its pH is less than 7, okay, if pH is less than 7, then that particular substance is said to be acid. Okay, first thing is what? It would be sour in taste. The pH is less than 7, then that particular solution is said to be acid. And if you take litmus, okay, if you are taking blue litmus, that blue litmus will turn red. Okay, if you are taking blue litmus, then if you're dipping it into the acidic solution, that blue litmus will turn into red, which is a confirmation that your solution is acidic. Okay, what is acidic property? Basically, how you can say that particular substance is acidic. Why? How? So it's basically sour in taste, then that pH will be less than 7, then that particular solution is said to be acidic. Third one, if you're taking blue litmus, it is going to turn red, then it is a indication that your particular solution is acid. Okay, now there are basically two types of acid. Okay, what are they? Let's see. So acid is classified into two. Okay, what is the acid's classification? That is, acid is classified into two. Okay, first is what? Natural acid. First one is what? Natural acid. Second one is synthetic acid. Okay, what is acid? Acid is classified into two: natural acid and synthetic acid. What is natural acid? It goes by name, the substance which you get from nature. Okay, what? The substance which you get from nature is called as natural acid. Means the substance which is derived from plants, animal, that particular substance will be said as what? Natural acid. Then what will be example of natural acid? Example is lemon. Okay, now lemon contains which acid, guys? Citric acid. Okay, then there is a tamarind. Okay, this tamarind contains tartaric acid, which is like a natural origin lemon which we have, okay, which contains citric acid, so it is also a natural acid. Okay, third thing is what? Which we have it daily, which is milk, curd. This milk and curd contain lactic acid. Okay, so this, if at all, the acid which you get from nature, that is from plants and animal, then that particular acid is said to be as natural acid. Okay, then what is synthetic acid? See, obviously it also goes by name, the one which is derived or the one which is made by men, or the one which is, prepared in laboratories. Okay, one which is prepared in laboratories. The one which is prepared in laboratories. Those are called as what? The one which is prepared in laboratory is called as what? Synthetic acid. Then what are the example of it? Example is hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, sulfuric acid. Okay, understood? So this is like what? This is like you might have studied in your previous grade. Just for short information, I'm explaining you this. Okay, what is acid, guys? First thing, it is sour in taste. Okay, then its pH will be less than 7. And third thing, whenever you're taking blue litmus and you're dipping it into acidic solution, then that blue litmus will be turning into red. It's an indication of what? Acid. Okay. Then there are two types of acid, natural acid and synthetic acid. Goes by name. Natural acid is what? The acid which you get from nature. The one which is derived from plants and animals. Those are called as what? Natural acid. Example is what? Lemon. Lemon contains citric acid. Tamarind contains tartaric acid. Milk contains lactic acid. So these are the acid which you get from nature, hence called as natural acid. Synthetic acid goes by name, which you prepare in laboratory. Okay, so hence it is called as synthetic. Example will be what? Hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, sulfuric acid. Okay, fine. Okay, now we'll start with what acid is. How we are going to define acid in our chemistry. Okay, so let's see. What is acid? So the substance, okay, the substance, okay, when dissolved in water, okay, what is acid? The substance which when dissolved in water produces H plus ions. This is extremely important. Okay, this is extremely important. Produces what? H plus ions. Okay, always remember acid means H plus ions. Okay, so let's just see it again. What is acid? Okay, acid is basically what? The substance when dissolved in water. Okay, a substance when dissolved in water, it produces H plus ions. If at all after dissolving, if it gives out H plus ion, then that particular substance is said to be acid. Okay, so what is acid? The substance when dissolved in water produces H plus ions. Okay, now let's see example how basically the dissociation takes place. Example. Okay, what are acids, guys? Like hydrochloric acid, which is HCl. Okay, then sulfuric acid, which is H2SO4. Nitric acid, which is HNO3. Okay, so there are various like acid. Okay, what happens when this get dissociated? So let's talk about hydrochloric acid. This is what? Hydrochloric acid. Okay, and yes, this is like in aqueous medium. Okay, we have seen in our previous lectures as well, or previous video as well, what happens when what is aqueous basically. If you're taking, now here we are talking about hydrochloric acid. So take hydrochloric acid and dissolve it in say 100 ml of water. Okay, if you're taking substance or chemical substance, here we are taking acid, which is hydrochloric acid, and we are dissolving in water, then that particular solution is called as aqueous solution. The solution which is made out of water is called as aqueous solution. Okay, and it is must, like whenever you're taking acid and you're dissolving in water, then this dissociation will take place. Otherwise, no. Okay, otherwise the dissociation is not going to take place. Okay, that means you need water for this dissociation and formation of H plus ions. Okay, so here we are talking about hydrochloric acid, which is an aqueous medium. Okay, now what happens whenever you're taking HCl, which is hydrochloric acid, and dissolving in water, what happens? It will dissociate into H plus ions, just like I said, and Cl minus ions. Okay, these are what, guys? These are ions. Okay, this is molecule. When you're dissolving in water, it will dissociate into ions. Okay, the ions are basically what? The one which carry positive charge and negative charge. This we'll see in our coming videos, but at present just what happens here is when HCl you're taking in aqueous medium, when it dissociates into what? H plus ion and Cl minus ions. Okay. Second example we'll see is H2 with SO4, which is what? Sulfuric acid. Whenever you are dissolving in water, this is also aqueous medium, it is going to dissociate into H plus ions and SO4 ions. Okay, fine. So HCl, hydrochloric acid, this is sulfuric acid. Okay, it's an aqueous medium. Whenever the acid in aqueous medium, it will dissociate into H plus ions and Cl minus ion, and this is what? SO4. The valence is 2. Okay, so SO4 ions. Okay, so see what is acid. We just seen the definition. Acid is what? The substance when dissolved in water, okay, produces H plus ions. Okay, let's see whether the acid is producing H plus ion. Yes, it is producing. H2SO4, is it producing? Yes, it is producing. So that means this is what? Acid. Okay, what is acid? The substance when dissolved in water produces H plus ions. So see, this substance when dissolved in water produces H plus ions. Okay, so hence it is an example of what? Acid. Okay, fine. Now let's just see. We also need to see, it is very important. Whenever we are talking about acid, we also need to know whether that particular acid is a strong acid or a weak acid. Okay, let's just see it now. Let me know guys if you're liking my video. Please do like, share and subscribe if you're liking it. Okay, now we'll just see what is strong acid and what is weak acid. Okay, what is strong acid? Okay, what is strong acid and what is weak acid? Okay, what is strong acid? What is weak acid? Okay, now strong acid, it is what? The concentration will be strong. Weak acid, the concentration will be less. Okay, now what is it basically? We'll see. Now, strong acid is basically the acid which dissociates. Dissociates is what, guys? It's breaking down. The acid which dissociates completely. Okay, it's very important that the dissociation, you should write it, that dissociates completely. What is strong acid? The acid which dissociates completely is what? Strong acid. Okay. So example is what? Hydrochloric acid, H2SO4, which is sulfuric acid, nitric acid. Okay. Then H3PO4, which is a phosphoric acid. Okay, then hydrobromic acid. This is what? An example of a strong acid. What is strong acid? The acid which dissociates completely into water. Means what? If you are taking for example a molecule, say 50 molecule, and if you are dissolving in water, okay, the whole molecule is going to dissociate. The 50 molecules are going to dissociate. Whole molecule is going to dissociate completely and forming H plus ions. Now what is weak acid? Which do not dissociate completely. Which what? Which do not dissociates completely. Okay. Weak acid is what? The weak acid is that which do not dissociate completely. Do not. Okay, what is weak acid? The acid which do not dissociate completely. Okay, example is what? SCOOH, which is formic acid. Okay, I'll make a video on the formulas and everything, but right now just listen to me. HCOOH means what? It's a formic acid, which is a weak acid. Okay. Then second one is acetic acid, CH3COOH. This is what? Acetic acid. Okay. Okay guys. So what is this strong acid and weak acid? The strong acid is that acid which dissociates completely. Okay, see, which is what example is what hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid. Hydrochloric is what HCl, sulfuric acid is H2SO4, nitric acid is HNO3, H3PO4 which is a phosphoric acid, HBr is a hydrobromic acid. These are an examples of strong acid. Okay, now let's see examples of weak acid. The weak acid is what? The weak acid is that acid which do not dissociates completely. Okay, which do not dissociates completely. Example is what? Formic acid and acetic acid. This is the example of weak acid. Now it will not dissociate means what? Here we took 50 molecule, it completely dissociate. That means strong acid. We take 50 molecule and for example only half of the molecule are getting dissociate. Half of the molecule are only forming H plus ions. Then that particular acid is said to be weak acid. Okay, fine. So if you like my video, please do like, share and subscribe. Thanks a lot.